Polyend
and DREADBOX.
And DREADBOX.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right. Are we? You already recording, or are we starting? Or,
no, we are recording.
All right. So we're on night. Let's start. Let's start from the beginning. Hi. This is an interview for Lezen. I'm Jacek from Polyend. We are a Polish-based company. And we are going to talk about Medusa, our newest project that was made in collaboration with DREADBOX, the famous Greek company that make really cool sounding analog synthesizers. So please take a look. This is the Medusa. That's how it looks. This is the grid, which is a unique controller and a sequencer. Yeah. But let's first take a look on the mixer. As we're talking about the analog voices that were provided by the DREADBOX, so we have three separate oscillators which are analog, the noise generator, and three digital oscillators that were made by Polyend. Those are wavetables. Then from unique features you also have a few, 5 independent LFOs syncable to the 5. With the target that you can just adjust to your use. Then you have 5 envelopes, also independent. 2 of them are specialized for a filter and the amplifier. There's an analog filter with low pass 2 and 4 pole and high pass filter 2. As you can see, the basic modulation for oscillators, so the waves, the octaves, and the fine tuning. The tuning and also the fine tuning. If you want to tune your digital ones, you just turning the digital mode, and it's doing exactly the same for the digital oscillators. All right, so what else I can tell you? As I mentioned, the grid, which is that's something we provided as a Polyend.
From this one,
Well, it's not really taken out from the SICK sequencer. It's totally different. SICK is the simplest sequencer that you can probably have. This sequencer and the controller by itself is rather kind of more sophisticated. The sequencer can store parameter logs for virtually any parameter that's available to tune and tweak in the synthesizer. So it can hold different presets per step, right? That's what makes it totally different than the one that's implemented in SEC. And the other thing is SEC is just a sequencer, and here you also can play this as a classical keyboard, for example. So those are the differences. So what else I can say? This is a hybrid paraphonic synthesizer. Right now the monophonic version, the monophonic mode is the only one available. We're still working on the paraphonic modes. The first paraphonic mode is going to allow you to play 3 separate couples of voices, so the analog and digital together. So the first analog and the first digital oscillated together, so on for the second one and the third one. So we need to finish those modes. The second paraphonic mode is going to allow you to play 6 separate voices. So you're going to be able to lay out some really nice chords and just be almost polyphonic. The only thing is that there's just one filter.
One filter,
So it's a Medusa hybrid synthesizer, paraphonic hybrid synthesizer. The other function, which is not available yet, but we are working on it, and it's gonna be, available in the final product, is the randomizer, which is gonna allow you to randomize both the voice and the grid section. So the sequences and also all the voice parameters. What's worth mentioning is also the controller. The grid as a controller is pressure sensitive, so we can adjust 3 different targets per pad for the pressure, which I'm gonna show you while we're gonna demo the sounds. So that's pretty much it. Every single function of the synthesizer is brought to the main panel. There's not many diving in menus,
like menus.
Yeah, I mean there are some for the grid, but you are just setting them once or twice, and that's it. You don't need to tweak them all the time.
Set
and about the menus for the voice part, it's mostly the targets for the LFO and the envelopes, and that's pretty much it. The mixer is here, the envelopes, the LFOs.
All right.
And that's pretty much it. What else I can add? You can sync the oscillators, both digital and analog, and there's also an FM modulation for the filter.
Ring modulation?
Yes.
Ring modulation, okay.
Yeah.
So this is all the classic modulations are built in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But with the amount of the LFOs and envelopes, it's possible to make really decent and unique sounds out of it.
Yeah.
So maybe let's try showing those now.